Got a bunch of boats being built. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the Mojo boat here. We added trim tabs. Welcome back to another episode of Mojo H2o. So today we're going to talk about trim tabs. And trim tabs are something that some people need them, some people don't. The Mojo boat definitely needed them. The long and short of it, did it work? Was it worth the effort? And how big of a change did it make by putting them on the boat? Well, we're going to answer all those questions throughout this video. Sit back, enjoy, and let's talk about trim tabs. What's up, guys? Real quick, I screwed up in several places on this video, and one of my viewers pointed it out. So apparently I kept saying UMHW, and I actually meant to say UHMW. So thanks for that viewer pointing that out. As you can see, I got the new studio up. Still working on splitting the screens, coming soon. Again, apologize for all the mistakes in this video, but you know what I mean. Enjoy the video. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button since we're on a break. Back up. Again. So we originally built the Mojo boat to be a Delta boat, as I mentioned earlier. It was never intended to be sliding across rocks or jumping logs. We built the Mojo boat for speed. And by leaving the UMHW off, I felt I could get the most amount of speed out of the hull by it being clean and uninterrupted by a bunch of screws and plastic for weight. I also moved the steering wheel back 6 inches, the seats back 6 inches to get the weight to the back of the boat so that it wouldn't plow like most of the boats with the UMHW on them. Originally added a wake plate or a ride plate underneath the pump to protect the pump and try to act somewhat like a trim tab. That plate was mounted originally perfectly level with the bottom of the boat, and then we changed it to 1/4 of an inch up in the front to level with the bottom of the boat in the back. This took away about 50% of the hop that the boat originally had. But to stop it from hopping when you came up on plane, you had to slide the boat just a little bit to get it to set. Once it's set, you could hammer down the throttle and she rode pretty good. The frustrating part was when you didn't set it, you had terrible porpoising. By adding the trim tabs and simply adjusting, I can actually control right side and left side and neutralize the steering effect that's created by the weight distribution within the boat. Being in there by myself with the ballast weights, I can trim it to where it literally has no steering effect at all. In other words, the boat does not pull to the right or the left once you set it correctly, where one trim tab may be down a little bit more on the left where I'm sitting. than the one on the right. When we built Megan's boat, we decided to put trim tabs on it, not knowing that the UMHW was actually going to fix that problem. However, the UMHW actually increased the problem on Megan's boat, and now we're working with the opposite problem where the nose tends to plow. As you know, we built two boats, one with UMHW, one without. The one without absolutely needed the trim tabs, and the trim tabs have made it so much better to drive. Megan's boat, having trim tabs, she never needs to use them. So honestly, they were a waste of money. She doesn't have a ride plate, pretty much just has a stock hull with the UMHW. We plan on taking that boat out of the water and cleaning up the bottom of it a little bit. It might have a little bit of a lip in the back, causing a bit of a downforce or trim effect. But honestly, she loves the way it drives. I personally don't, but she loves it. And we're going to try to sand the bottom and smooth it out a little bit. If you're watching this video, you've probably watched the one where Cletus had the same problem, where he dented the bottom of his hull and put new UMHW. He then put in some spacers to clean up the lines of the UMHW and make it smoother because it was plowing the nose so bad. This fixed his problem, and I'm not so sure that that's the problem that we're having with Megan's boat. Having the window and the cab and all of the weight up there. We did build her boat out of aluminum, all aluminum, and that saved a ton of weight compared to the Mojo boat. But when we did the Mojo boat, we thought about aft weight and tried to make sure we moved everything back as far as we could. So if you're having a boat built and you're not doing any of the cab and roof and roll cage, windows, etc., you're probably going to be fine if you have the UMHW to not add trim tabs. If you're building a boat without UMHW or think that you might need the trim tabs, certainly can't hurt to put them on. As you noticed, we did add them after the Mojo boat was over 1.5 years old, and it was pretty easy to add them. Troy from Torchcraft in Oregon installed them all, did all the wiring. I just supplied him all the components, and pretty clean installation, and I'm pretty happy with it. Honestly, it's fixed all the problems that I have with the boat. Couldn't be happier.